G'day, Nathan and Brett here from SEQH.
Morning.
So today what we wanted to do is talk about the magnificent A-doubles. So Brett, take it away. Why did the A-double get created in the industry?
Sure. The A-double, in my mind, for us, there was two rationales. One was, and the key one was addressing this imbalance we had with carriers that were located down in the Fisherman's Island. They had super Bs. They cut 240s out of the wharf at one time. And being off island, which is our strategy to own our own facilities, we were limited to a B-double under the regulations as they stood at the time. So to address that imbalance, and because the trade was increasingly moving away from 20s to 40s, we needed to get 240s off in a single move. So that was the key reason for developing the A-double. The second reason was our Western customers. We were hauling grain in 20-foot containers at about 27 and a half tonne, and we're limited to singles. So the other rationale was to get two of those grain boxes in at the one time.
Yeah, and I guess just to inject in there as well is, because that was coming from Toowoomba down, Toowoomba is the furthest point you could go with
a road train.
A road train.
That's correct.
And from our customer sites to Toowoomba,
that's right,
we're running road trains.
Road trains, then back on singles to bring them in.
Which
so
didn't make sense.
Made no sense. So we needed to extend that road train route by virtue of the PBS vehicle, which was the A-double.
Yeah, okay. So that's the why. Those are the benefits there. That's the why. But how did that actually come about? Because, this launched in 2010, but it was about a 3-year build-up.
It was a three-year regulatory period. We were working with the authorities and also developing some technology with Hallmark trailers.
Yep.
Hallmark were instrumental, through Mark Johnson, were instrumental in developing some technology which allowed us to meet the PBS requirements. There's 16 or 17 PBS requirements, which relate to how they perform on road, dynamic handling, length. There's a whole bunch of things you've got to comply with to meet those PBS standards.
And weight declarations as well.
Yes, well, to get the approval, there was two things. There was locating where we were, which is the IAP stuff, and the second thing was mass control. So we had to have scales on board, which reported back to Department of Transport.
Yeah. Okay.
So expensive, but when you go from 1 to 2 containers, it's a 100% increase in productivity.
Yeah, and definitely. And I think I remember you talking about even the special dollies we had to have. Those steerable dollies.
In those early days, those steerable dollies, and that was a response to the regulations as they were. As time went on, a lot of it was very close to being a 30-metre vehicle with a dolly of certain requirements. It was very close, and we went with the route of the steering dolly, which easily met the criteria.
Yep.
Through time, that was phased out, and we were able to go with standard dollies.
Yeah. Okay. And so probably the last thing, let's talk about what were the benefits to the industry, but also what were some of the objections you came across? Because generally, when something is new and fresh, people don't necessarily like change.
That's right.
And this is a totally fresh, unique concept for the transport industry. So what were some of the benefits, and also what were some of the challenges?
Well, I mean, the benefits were obvious, that we could get the cost of exporting down in particular.
Yep.
For us, it leveled the playing field in terms of us vis-a-vis our on-island competitors.
Yep.
And that was good, and that's shown in terms of our market share. Our market share has grown consistently since 2010, as we've been able to compete effectively with them. In terms of the objections, I remember there was a headline on the Toowoomba Chronicle, I think it was, which said, monster trucks coming down the range. So they were trying to whip up a bit of community unrest about these monster trucks, despite the fact road trains were quite a common sight in most parts of Toowoomba.
Yes.
On the road train routes, but
they just weren't going down the range.
They weren't going down the range, but going down the range, whether you're taking down 50 tonne or 80 tonne, I mean the procedure's the same.
Yeah.
And technology had increased in terms of exhaust braking, dynamic retarders. There's a whole bunch of technologies which made it a very safe routine. So there was no issues there. It was more the papers trying to sell papers, unfortunately.
Yes, right. And I guess talking Toowoomba as well, there's a lot of freight that goes through Toowoomba onto the road train networks that then run further west, Western Queensland, and also south,
from Darwin, all through Adelaide, Melbourne,
and right up the guts of Queensland.
That's right.
Connecting to the east coast again.
That's right. No, exactly. tapping into the road train routes west. That's correct. Yeah, there's a lot of freight goes through Toowoomba.
Yep.
So having A doubles certainly, from our perspective, enabled that supply chain to improve its cost base.
Yep.
Which resulted in, additional tonnes being exported.
Yep.
Which, additional jobs. It just continues to flow.
Yep. So finally, let's just talk about the last two most recent creations for the modifications to the A double.
Mm-hmm.
First one being the single axle A double.
Yes. So single axle A double was really predominantly targeted for us at the cartage of empty containers.
Yep.
So they're a lightweight combo. Allows us to get away from weight decks and just reduces the cost of registration, obviously, and purchase.
Yep.
So, but one thing's for sure in the container business, you're always carting empty containers.
Yes.
So we're able to split up the fleet because we knew there was going to be X amount having to be doing empty. So
just a dedicated fleet.
Dedicate them to empty. So that got our costs down.
Yep.
And
meant we're not forgetting about empties as well. The import de-highs always go back.
We had them dedicated, so that's right.
Yeah.
It was good for our import customers. They were always getting their imports de-highed on a regular basis, and also exporters picking up empties because a full container starts out as an empty.
Yes.
So
and then
the export side.
The third adoption modification is the try.
It was the try, yeah. There's under the PBS rules there is a 85 tonne or 85.5 tonne cap in the rules, which is very un-PBS like, but there is. So we had to get an exemption to that. The logic for that for us was to cart heavier containers, 40-foot containers rated up to 32.5 tonnes generally.
Yep.
Reefer's a little bit heavier. But with a try combination, running just to the port from our yard, we're able to cart 32.5 tonnes pretty easily on that back position.
Yep.
So now we've got an approval for 91 tonnes.
Yep.
Which we never get to because containers, when you add up the weights of the containers, they don't get that high. But it allows us good flexibility to cart, particularly with our log export business, which they continually running containers up towards that 32.5 tonnes.
Yep, that's the goal. So that's the benefit of the export side of things from our facility here.
Yes.
But the other thing I also see from an import perspective is sometimes containers get loaded too damn heavy.
That's right.
And the reality is when they get to Brisbane, when they're at the terminal, they have to come out.
That's right.
So at least we've got a solution where we can handle them legally in a very cost-effective manner as well.
That's right. And that's what the try A double system does that for us. Again, levels the playing field with the island and allows us to provide that service for 32.5 or 34 tonne containers should they come through.
Yeah. All right. So that's the story of the A double from really talking 2007 to the actual launch in 2010.
That's right.
The other two launches thereafter of the single axle A double, and then also the tri dolly
A double.
Any further questions? Reach out. But thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.